So the next one, for years, Giant Steps was my favorite Trane album. And it's an amazing album. It's pretty much flawless. Again, side 2 for me is another example of a perfect record side. Naima would be my vote for the most beautiful song ever written in any genre. And I think as I got older, the onslaught of 16th notes on the first side just tired me out a little bit, but the second side 2 on this is a truly perfect album side. That said, that is my favorite Trane album. A Love Supreme it's like sort of John walking away from his hard bop and making a more direct connection with what needs to come out. I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but it's a record that's an experience in a similar way to the Miles, but this one leads you somewhere, whereas the Miles lets you dwell in your head. This one for me really does have a path that it takes you on. It's a big multi-part composition, so it makes sense. And it's not chopped up and recreated like the Miles is. This is him playing what he wanted to play with guys that knew what needed to come out. So this is a really big one for me. Yeah, this was a mono that got a stereo sticker put on it. It is a stereo inside, but it actually said mono on the spine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crossed out. So yeah, early stereo ones. Yeah, they're amazing records. So this one is the last of the twofers. Dave Holland pops up again here. So actually I was talking about the sort of the fusion vibe when we were talking about the Herbie Hancock Headhunters album, which is obviously has enormous helping of funk in it. And then I made a little bit of fun of Return to Forever as being sort of the apogee and death of fusion. But you know, fusion kind of lived on, and this is my favorite fusion album. And we have Dave Holland again as the bass player. Band leader is John Abercrombie, and one of my absolute favorite drummers, Jack DeJohnette. It's called Gateway. This is a twofer because the other record that I wanted to do it's Dave Holland as the band leader, and it's way more out there, but it's Conference of the Birds. Why are these similar? Well, they both kind of go all over the place. They can be kind of hard to chase. This one has, in that, if we talk about that sort of fusion vibe, this one has sort of rock elements to it, but it's held together by Dave Holland's like beautiful sort of rhythms and DeJohnette's magnificent. This is definitely up there. This may be my favorite DeJohnette performance. Somebody told me, a friend of mine told me when he was talking to Jack DeJohnette, he describes his drum playing as clothes tumbling in a dryer. So if you're looking at the clothes, there's no rhythm, there's no beat, but the overall thing is there. And this is an amazing example because his chops are crazy, and you don't know where he's going to go, but then, man, he's completely locked. And it's not as crazy out there as free jazz is. It's not that, but it has some of those elements, and it is so good. This one has more of those free jazz elements for sure, but the reason this is one of my absolute favorite records is because there's something about it. Free jazz, sometimes I can listen to it and I absolutely love it, and sometimes I cannot tolerate it. But this, even though it's free jazz, and even though it's got Sam Rivers, Anthony Braxton, it's got some of the avant-gardist of the some of those dudes are in some of the heaviest albums. I think what it is that Dave Holland's idea that it's Conference of the Birds reins it all in, or maybe it's because it plants the seed. All right, this is going to be birds. And so you've got these guys doing the flute and the reeds, and even the percussion playing is madness, but it is totally like birds. It's birds talking to each other, and Dave Holland, who's the band leader in this one and the composer in this one, playing the least bird-like instrument, the bass, manages to sort of pull it all together, and so it's a conference of birds, and Dave Holland's bass is sort of made the arena for where these birds are jamming at each other, and it's an amazing record. And it is free jazz, I guess, right? I'm not a genreist. I don't really know this stuff as well. It seems pretty free to me, but because my mind has that thing to grasp on, I follow it all the way through, and I can play side A and then side B and be completely lost in it and love it. Also, as I get older, I'm starting to love birds. I never paid much attention to them when I was young, and in the past 10 years I've grown to really appreciate birds, their intelligence, their surprising intelligence, their beauty, their complexity, and so this strikes a nerve. And it in a different way than there's some newer guys like guitarist Dave Fusinski put out a bird record a few years ago. And that's an amazing record too. But nothing gets as bird-like as this. This, for me, has the frenetic, bird calls. Their minds are working so much faster than our minds are. We have no idea. It's when you listen to recordings of bird calls slowed down, the complexity and the multi-tonality and the multi-rhythmic elements within bird calls are astonishing, and they completely go over our heads. And these guys, for me, nail it. They've got a very bird-like vibe. I love it. It's a great record.